Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how we integrate monetization in games. And I will be the moderator. My name is Buğra. I'm representing the co-sector of fun, working there as a side job, but also I'm a lead product manager at EA, working on SimCity Build It for the last couple of years. And we have a couple of speakers here today. Nice to meet you, Hazim.
Thank you. I'm Hazim, co-founder and CEO of MadHook. We are a game development studio. We do casual and mid-core games, and we self-publish them.
And we have Hayden.
Cool, yes, I'm Hayden. I'm here representing Audiomob, and we provide in-game audio ads as a platform for publishers and app developers.
It's Zali. I'm the founder and CEO of Ratic. We are a white label solution service for games.
Okay, yeah. I will start with my first question maybe to you, because you are working in a studio, and I guess you have the biggest challenge of like how to monetize the game, the biggest challenge. And I want to ask you like, what were your like a biggest challenge when you were adding monetization? Any challenge that you can point out?
So basically, the most challenging part is like CPI versus LTV. So you need to like increase CPI, increase LTVs as much as possible, and have like good CPI at the same time. And the problem with like ad revenue in general, it usually like interrupts gameplay and it will affect the retention. So you need to be smart how to implement the ads. That's why now we are seeing like a new type of ads, like Audiomob audio ads, which plays during the game and doesn't interrupt the game cycle. So you need to be like smart in order to like push as much ads as you can and don't break the game loop. And that's the most challenging thing.
Yeah, so as you know, we have like a traditional monetizations, like in-app purchases, ads, but I see that there's like new things coming up all the time. And I heard about like the audio ads the first time from you. And so can you explain a bit like how the games can integrate this audio ads and what are the benefits?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, ideally what we're trying to do is give another avenue for monetization. So right now, we're quite saturated with video ads and interstitials. So what we enable is basically a different way for publishers to interact with their players and get brands, in front of their players and campaigns in front of their players. So one of our key kind of things is we're non-intrusive. So with a video ad, you obviously block the player. They have to, watch the ad before they can continue to interact with your game. And quite a lot of the time, you're advertising other games with video ads. So not an ideal solution really for either party in that relationship. So what we do is we basically enable you to let the player continue playing, and then whilst they're playing, you can deliver an ad, and you can either do a skippable format, or if you want to take that a bit further, you can do a rewarded format, and you can link that to a game mechanic, so you're directly, effectively linking the player's engagement in the game to an advert, which just creates more of an engagement and generally a nicer user experience.
Okay. And how is the integration? Like, is it just from API, or is it like a difficult integration?
We like to think we're pretty seamless across the board. So we provide for the developer, if you split it into, I guess, the three components of, publishers, players, and brands or advertisers. For developers, we offer a Unity plugin. We offer a native iOS and Android SDKs. So hopefully we've got you covered there. And obviously, we're seamless in the sense that you're not cannibalizing the monetization pipeline you've already got. We're giving you like an alternative thing. So you can basically leave your current pipeline untouched. You can either plug us into that, or you can add us separately. From the brand side or the advertiser side, we've got an in-house sales team that go out and connect with brands directly, which enables you to kind of get a better relationship between the publisher and the advertisers, and really like premium deals. And then for the player, obviously we're a player-first company, so that's super important to us, and the user experience is kind of where we like to focus. And generally, audio ads as a format is just a more seamless way to bring adverts into your game. So the fact you're not disrupting them, the fact that you're not kind of making them take a step back from the gameplay, it just generally creates like that, that nicer environment.
Okay. How about advertisers? Are like a big amount of advertisers like trying to sell their ads from the audio, or is it like still not competitive as video and interstitials? How is the advertiser side?
So obviously, as a format, it's still in its early stages. So we're building a lot of traction around that. So there is a lot of interest. Obviously, if you look at podcast advertising, radio advertising, like this isn't new in terms of advertising. It's just it's a new market, I guess, for advertisers. So yeah, we're getting a lot of interest, and they're seeing very good results. And I say one thing that Audiomob is able to do, because a lot of people's first questions about an audio ad is what happens if the player's volume's 0 or muted.
Yeah.
So what Audiomob does is we've got volume detection basically. So we can ensure to the advertisers and the brand campaigns that your ad's being heard. So that gives them a lot of faith in the model, and that enables us to get the CPMs and the kind of the deals that we can get. Now, they are still lower than video at the moment, but we're hoping for that to kind of increase as they gain traction. But that audibility element is super important for kind of campaign advertisers and brands.
Yeah. And Ali, you are bringing a lot of solutions for companies to how to monetize their games.
Yeah.
But also not just for the developers, but I think also you have some solutions that give something back to the players, right?
Yeah. So we really believe the power of rewarding players. So monetization, what's monetization for us? It's like the pricing for other businesses. Like if you're a SaaS, there's some pricing strategies. If it's a game, if it's a free-to-play game, there are some monetization strategies. So I have a favorite quote about the pricing model in different business models. They say you need to increase your pricing to the point that your users gets uncomfortable, but they still buy it. So it is, I believe, same in the gaming industry. You need to maximize the monetization, since like Mobidictum tickets cost you some money. You need some money, so you need to be profitable. But you shouldn't, disrupt the experience, and you shouldn't make them to go to the point that they stop playing because of ads, because of things. I don't know. But as same as the other strategies to reward users with some perks or some other features in the SaaS or other business models, there are also such things in the gaming industry as well. There are also other businesses that reverse their place in different ways. So there are some solutions, as you know, like rewarded ads and such things. It really increases the engagement, and it really decreases the it makes the point they stop playing really far. But we do something different. We put the cash on the table. So if we ask ourselves, what if we reward players with cash? They do something, we monetize them, but there is a cash at the end. Maybe there's a cash at the end. So with a LiveOps SDK, but we want to also jump into monetization field as well. So we launched some tournament solutions. We do two different things to monetize in-game tournaments. We do paid tournaments, so players are paying a fee to join a tournament. So you monetize your player base as in-game purchases. But they love it, since it's not like in-app purchase. They don't get something virtual, but they compete in real cash tournaments. So they can, if they be the first one or the second, I don't know, they go up in the tournament, they really can get something in return. And also other thing we do, we now start partnering with brands who want to advertise their products and brands to gamer community, and they want to become a love brand. Instead just advertising in Google Ads that people don't want to see it, they want to close it. But if you advertise in a way that you reward players, you reward gamers, they can really tend to love you. So we start doing that as well. So what we do, we held sponsored tournaments that players are registering for free, but there is a sponsored tournament, there is a mission to do, watching ads, filling a survey, I don't know, maybe going and downloading some app. But some people will do it since they want to compete in the tournament and they want the cash. So it's not making their experience really bad. So giving something in return to your users, I believe it could be also a really nice strategy in terms of monetization.
Okay, so in these tournaments, the tasks and whatever the challenges are not in-game specific actions, but more general things? Is that what brands are usually?
Our strategy is building a white label product and fully customizable product. We only help them to help games and brands about the advertisements, backend, the fintech side, and all of the boring stuff. But we don't do anything in the game. We don't, make anything fixed or general. So game developer can do anything they want. We can work with any product with scores. It could be app, it could be game. We don't care. If you send us some scores from championship like tournaments, like maybe tournaments with a time frame, we can work with that. We can work with any type of tournaments.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So as you know, we all care about user engagement and retention, and I think there's the question is what's the right balance between in-app purchases, ads, and other monetization metrics, while keeping players still engaged but also monetizing them. And I know that you are working a casual and mid-core games. I think the experience is different.
So basically, it depends on the game, and it even depends on the region that you are targeting. So when you say, first of all, in terms of in-app purchases, you need to introduce in-app purchases, but you don't need to block the users with in-app purchases. So if they do in-app purchases, they will accelerate their progress, but never block them to pay in-app purchases. When it comes to ads, you need to test. It depends on the game. It depends on the playtime. So sometimes you can push 3-4 ads per sessions. In some games you can push up to 7 ads. And in some regions, for example, Brazil and India, they can watch even more ads, and still the retention is still good and doesn't drop. So it depends on the type of the game and how you insert the ads inside it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you also doing some additional things where, let's say that you look at the segments, you find a segment that's not monetizing well? Are you trying a different kind of strategies for?
Yeah, sometimes you do A/B tests and for different segments and different ways to show ads, for example, and you can see that some segments tolerate more ads, and you can push more ads to them. Yeah.
Hayden, what's your experience like? Probably you have some partners and clients that have ad-mon and also in-app purchases. How it strikes in terms of balance?
Yeah, so for us, I guess that's the whole point we exist, right? Because there is this untapped area of games or apps in general, and the fact that you can, it's in the game means that it just opens up a different pathway. So you can, let's say, to take a car driving game, the player's playing, they're running out of fuel. You can trigger the reward right there. That advert then gets delivered, and they can continue playing directly as a result of listening to that ad. And then you can take that one step further, of that ad could then be for a fuel company. So there's this complete kind of full circle synergy that's directly related to what the player's doing right now. So yeah, we're in no way trying to come out here and say you should be getting rid of all other forms and just be sticking to audio, because that's not feasible. But you've explored those areas are becoming a little bit saturated, or you might just be run out of placements or ideas for those type of formats. So now there's this audio to try, and we're seeing really good engagement. And if you really configure it and tweak it, the setup, and you get the placement right, we're seeing games that can do upwards of 10 engagements a session with audio ads.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And Ali, what about you? The partners that you work with, are they mostly monetizing with ads or in-app purchases? How do you manage the balance from your experience?
We have all of them. There are some people monetize through ads, some in-game advertising, microtransactions, in-app purchase, all of them, since we work with all other platforms as well, web, PC, mobile. I'm not really expert in in-app purchase or advertisement monetization, but I want to speak with my own perspective as a gamer. I play games since I'm 6 or 7. I played all type of games. I still play. I have a small, Nintendo Switch. It's a pink one as well. So what I don't like about monetization strategies, I don't like to have to do something. So I don't like when I have to watch an ad. There needs to be some option. So this option could be removing ads. This option could be if I watch the ad, I will get something in return. So as I said, rewarded ads. I'm really a fan of it. So if it blocks the content, it gets, I believe, goes to the negative side of the world. in terms of like in-app purchases, I don't really like when I have to buy a health, like, live to play the game again and again and again. I don't really like it. I need to be able to play as much as I want. Since I have other, problems in my life, I need to scale my business. I shouldn't take care of your life things. But if there's a season pass, if there are some, skin set or such things, so it doesn't block anything in my gaming experience, but it adds some value. I really be happy to buy it. So I think the balance is there, like have to do something or bringing some value as an option.
Yeah, from what I understand, like you don't like non-intrusive things, just you don't want anything that stops you playing or blocking you, but instead you want to get rewarded.
Like Audiomob also great solution, or some there are some game tech solutions from Turkey like Portuma. They place ads in the game. Audiomob place ads in the game, so it doesn't disrupt it doesn't block anything in my game. So I don't really bother from it. So it's okay. Those people need to make some money. I'm not saying these people shouldn't make money, but it shouldn't block any content. Since I have some other things to do and I have some problems to take care of. I don't wanna wait about your game or anything like that.
Yeah. So as you know, the industry is getting really competitive, and there are big companies, but also a lot of small indie developers. They publish games, and do you have any suggestions for those new small companies, how they can get into monetization? Anything you want to highlight for them?
For me, I suggest that they start with ad monetization because it's easier to monetize from ads. I suggest also that they work with publishers because working with publishers builds faster experience that they lack at the start. And this happened with us. We worked with big publishers, and we ended up publishing our own games, and we understood how it's done. So that's it. And another thing is keep testing and push your product as fast as possible. So instead keep iterating before launching the product, build an MVP and push it as fast as possible and iterate after that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, or from Audiomob perspective, I think what's important is to really know your players. So the best engagements and the best placements we see is when developers really get creative with how they're incorporating ads into their games, because fundamentally, that's the direction we're going. We're going for immersion. Everyone wants more immersion. Everyone wants to be more connected to what they're doing, the content that they're kind of ingesting. So for us, it's really understanding your player and bringing the ads as close to that gaming experience, and as you mentioned, not blocking that experience. Tends to see the best kind of positive feedback from advertising in games.
I think the first thing they need to do as a small development company, they need to, start with something small, maybe Google Ads, rewarded ads, maybe solutions like AdMob that is easy to integrate. It doesn't block the content or do anything like that. But at the same time, they need to focus on the content creation, and they need to start developing the long game, so as a long term. So I believe the next step should be focusing on in-app purchases, not in the beginning, but maybe in the next step. Also, it could be something like season passes or some loot boxes. This is a great strategy, and most of the money created in the gaming industry comes from the loot box and season passes. I believe 70% revenue generated from mobile games last year came from season pass. So maybe they should start focusing on some long-term value and some long-term content like this.
Yeah, maybe I can have a follow-up question on that. As you know, the game development has very different stages. You start with prototyping, and then you go different milestones, technical launch, soft launch. And where do you see the best way to start looking into monetization integration? What's the best sweet spot?
In terms of IAP or ads, you say? Or
yeah, just
both?
you can have a general answer.
So I believe of course, in the test you don't have to. You're just looking for the acquisition costs and some some idea about the LTV. You don't have to know directly what is the LTV with the ads or something like that. So when you go to the soft launch stage, yes, I think you need to talk about with your team how to place ads and such things. But in terms of IAP in-app purchases, there will be some months to create content. There will be some months to build some acquisition channels, to think about the retention strategy. So you have a lot to think about. I think you shouldn't focus in the day one of soft launch or the hard launch. You shouldn't maybe really focus on the in-app purchase side of things. But then you will see the LTV. You will build the acquisition channel. So you have something, build it up. Then, as I said before, you can think about the long-term value and long-term content and in-app purchases. Maybe in the soft launch or the hard launch, there could be some soft in-app purchases, like some skins or such things. They don't work. Like most of the times, they don't work. You only get your 5% of revenue from those in-app purchases. So if you want to try it out, yeah, you can do it. But make sure you don't spend most of your time in it.
Yeah, Hayden, about Audiomob, what's the best time to, in the stage of development to add your solution, let's say, to monetize your game?
Yes, I think from a creative perspective, as early as possible in terms of game design is always great because, I say, then you can get the best synergy between the ads and the game experience. But I also think from an ad network or an integration, it's our job to make sure you can use us at whatever stage you're at. So. Yeah, I think it depends. You can always work with the stage you're at, but I think if you want to get kind of the best, if you want your players to experience the best environment, then thinking about that when you're thinking about mechanics and all of that is super important.
Okay. Do you also give support to the game designers, developers, where they should put that ad?
Yeah.
What's the right moment and the
so
right
another
placement?
thing that we offer at Audiomob, so actually my team. Our job is to support the technical integration, and that usually starts with some design recommendations, some mock-ups. So we'll play the games, establish kind of areas that we think would really suit the audio experience, and work with the developer to kind of flesh them out and implement mock-ups and see where it goes from there.
What about you, Hazim?
I believe you should first build a good game and focus initial KPIs like retention and playtime, and worry about the monetization later. Because if you have a good game, there's tons of way to monetize it. But if you have great monetization but a bad game, you will never monetize it. So the faster and the best way is to build the game as fast as possible, get good KPIs, and with think about the monetization in the back of your head, and implement it at a later stage once you reach KPIs that can scale the game.
Yeah, talking about KPIs, there's many metrics in monetization. Mm-hmm. Is there any a specific one metric that you take as a North Star and look into that?
So basically, in order to monetize a game, you need activity, you need active users. So you're looking at good retention, good play time. These best KPIs to look at the first early stages. I believe if you have enough retention, enough play time, you will get enough daily active users, and then more activity on the game, and you can monetize more both from in-apps and advertisement.
Okay, Hayden, do you have any different metrics that you track in the audio ads?
Yeah, so from what we offer to the client, our key things is obviously a zero retention loss, because that's obviously very important, and an incremental revenue uplift. Following that, it's then how that links to obviously what the client's after. So whether that be ARPDAU, lifetime value, they're the ones that people see kind of really positive impacts from. Internally, we're also very interested in listen-through rates, because that shows the engagement with the ad, which is obviously important for the other side of the brands and the campaigns to ensure that their content's being heard.
Yeah, Ali, so in these tournaments that you mentioned, is a specific metrics that the developers are tracking?
What we aim to increase, the average revenue per paying user. So for the paid one, I say, since if a person already doesn't purchase things, they don't purchase the fee to join a tournament as well, most of the times. So we aim to increase that. And of course, the LTV and acquisition things like profitability of the game, we think about that all of the time. And also, we think like the percent of all people, all monthly active users who join the tournament is also a good one for us to track. If it is down, we need to make the CTAs, call to actions, clear to join terms. Maybe we need to hide the price pools. We need to make it sexier to join. So yeah, we take care of those KPIs.
That was all. Thank you all. Yeah, so we will be around the event, so if you have any questions, you can just catch us and ask. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.